Way.
Right.
Dr. Love.
Hey, Dr. Love.
Hello, guys, and welcome to Mental Wealth Conversation with Derek Were
and Lillian Simiu. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. We appreciate the support and feedback so far of our previous recordings. We are here again with another episode of the Mental Health Podcast. And this month is a special month. This month is Mental Health Awareness Month. So we would like to encourage you guys to take care of your mental health, but also to take time to actually understand mental health and what it's about, and also spread the gospel in your circles. Other than that, I also want to shout out some people who have really supported us through. I want to shout out Otuchi, wherever you are. Thank you so much.
Otuchi, way.
Right. Thank you so much for being consistent. Thank you so much for listening and always giving us feedback. It means a lot. It helps us improve the podcast. Thank you, Renee, for listening, for giving your insights. Renee usually gives me like a detailed analysis of the podcast and what she thinks was good, what she thinks we can improve. So thank you very much, Renee. We appreciate you wherever you are. I know you're in Tanzania right now. Thank you very much. Derek, who do you want to shout out?
My first shout out goes to Dr. Love.
Hey, Dr. Love. Dr. Love is a member.
That guy is a member.
He's a stakeholder of
Really
this.
Stakeholder, by the way.
Of this. Alex, asante sana. Tunaku appreciate.
Yeah.
We love you as the Mental Wealth family.
Yeah. Shout out to Boaz Ogala.
Wow. Yeah. Boaz, asante sana. Asante Boaz.
Show.
We appreciate.
There is a lady called Lillian. Yes.
Thank you, namesake.
Yeah, Lillian, and then there's Josephine Flora. You know Josephine?
I know Josephine. Yes. Josephine, asante sana mai.
Yes. Then Achala and Majala. They're twins.
I'm not sure. Oh, okay. Thank you very much, guys.
I think those are the ones I need to
shout. I don't know who I've forgotten, but everyone.
Kama tumekusahau, we are sincerely sorry.
We are sorry, and we are thankful that you take the time to listen to our podcast. Yeah, Derek, what are we talking about today? Today
we're here to discuss emotions. What a conversation. What a topic.
Let's get into, we want to talk about what? We're talking about emotions and everything emotions. So what are they? How should they be expressed? Where should they be expressed? Are some people allowed to express emotions and others are not? All those things we are about to talk about, Derek. And
I just want to know who is not supposed to express emotions. I don't
know. I'm just asking random questions. Okay. I'm just asking.
I don't know why you're looking at me.
Random questions. I'm looking at you because I'm with you here. Where do you want me to look at? Where do you want me to look at? But Derek, to start with, I know this is a very, I would say, controversial because of when we talk about emotions. I think for you and me, automatically it goes to men and women and the conversation around
feminine versus
masculine and all those things. But what are emotions, Derek?
You should tell me what are emotions so that I can pick from their feelings.
I think the best way to describe them is just maybe to give examples. They're like just feelings, and they can be either positive or negative. They can be either happy or quote unquote sad. There's things like is a happiness an emotion? There's disappointment, anger, sadness, fear. All those are emotions. Happiness, excitement, all those things are emotions. And the reason why we talk about these things, I think there've been a lot of talk around the place of emotions in a human being's life. And most of the time it's been the idea, or what has been sold to us, is emotions are not good things. It's like an embarrassment. And you need to suppress your emotions.
You don't need to be angry.
You don't need to show cry. You don't need to show these emotions. You have to learn how to manage them at a personal level. And most of the time, most people don't have the tools to manage them at a personal level. So what you do is just like mask up or suppress. And these things, they come up. And it is clear that these things are not, like, suppressing your emotions or not being able to deal with your emotions in a healthy way has a negative effect
Absolutely.
on your mental health. Because if you don't deal with anger today, and you don't deal with disappointment tomorrow, and you don't deal with the fear the next day, it creates a pile of all these things that now brings confusion, and now you're showing behavior that even you didn't expect, because you have all these things that you have not resolved. Yeah. So what is the question?
We're typically discussing about emotions. You're explaining to us what emotions are.
What emotions are. So yeah. And Derek, let me ask, how do you deal with emotions, whether good or
bad? I express it, at least. Before, I used to think it is bad to get angry, no matter how people talk to you. I used to think it is against masculine principles to cry, or to even look like you're weak. That regardless of the situation.
So weakness, let me understand. So weakness, apart from crying, what else can be termed as weakness according to masculinity, quote unquote masculinity?
Not masculinity, but what was sold to me. Let me say what was sold to me. It is until I had moment, and I'm having, of course, a moment reading and studying more about masculinity. Crying, showing you're weak, being angry with people and situations, and like seeing things from a hopeless point of view, will term me as not being masculine enough. And so for the longest time as a man, I was always trying to avoid. And you don't avoid by running, because you can't run away from emotions. What happens is you suppress it, and then when you suppress it, it piles up, and then when it piles up, it decides for itself the moment it will explode. When you don't rest, for example, sleep will one day decide when you will sleep. It will definitely put you down. So yeah, but for me, I think I probably shared with you before, I only came to realize this when things were coming to an end for me. I was losing it. I was losing myself, and I was losing everything. So yeah, I think for now I try my best to express my emotion. Me, if I'm angry, I'll tell you I'm angry. If I am feeling stressed up, I will let you know. Even at my workplace, I just let my boss know, I think this work has stressed me up and I need some break. I need a moment to recharge and to regain energy. So I am very open about my emotions, and I express it, and I let people know. It is just that, where do I express? For example, if I'm angry, if I want to cry, for example, I'll not just cry anywhere.
You cry in the loop.
Of course, there are places for me I'm supposed to cry as a man. So yeah.
In secret.
Yeah, no, so long as it's not in public. You might not. It's not necessarily secret. I can be having my male friends here.
Oh, you can cry to your male
friends.
Not just to women.
Not women.
Why?
I'm masculine,
So?
The reason why most of the time they discourage, or masculine principles discourage men to cry before women, and by the term women they refer to especially those who they are in intimate relationship, or their families, for the fact that a male figure in a family is a protector. You take an example of a president, a male president, or even a female president, regardless, then they cry in public. At a point when Kenya is having a fight with another country, it sends wrong signal to the public. So to the smallest unit of a political system, which is the family, the moment a man, for example, of course there are moments when you cannot control. You are with female figures, but you can't control, it's beyond you. But in the event you have some aspect of like you can feel you're about to be emotional, you simply excuse yourself for the interest of not bringing about fear to your flock. So when we talk about me as a man and women, it is an aspect of how do I practice it as I grow up, because if I make it comfortable for me today, it becomes comfortable for me with my family, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. How do you express emotion as a woman or as Lillian?
How do I deal or express?
How do you express with it? How do you express emotion, and how do you deal with the emotion?
How do I deal with emotions? I've been thinking about that question. I'm not sure I have the answer though, but I realized after I asked myself that question, even before you asked me, because I knew you were going to ask me, I realized that I have not been a very expressive person when it comes to emotions. Like, it's very difficult for me to tell somebody I felt disappointed about ABCD or I'm angry about ABCD. My first instinct is usually to deal with whatever I'm feeling at a personal level. Yeah, but I'm learning that it's the importance of letting the person know, the person involved.
It's really important.
Yeah, the importance of letting the person involved that you feel this way, so that there's also not resentment going forward. Like, there can be that clear communication. Yeah, you can tell them I felt disappointed because of ABCD, and then you can have a conversation and probably come to an agreement so that you don't feel resentful. Because you see, if my perspective on this thing is that you intended to disappoint me, but maybe it wasn't your plan. If I don't communicate, that means that's the perspective I'm carrying forward.
Yes.
I'm not giving you a chance to like clear the air or say your side of the story. So I move on with that perspective, and I may become resentful, and that will affect the relationship, whether it's a work relationship, a friendship, a romantic relationship, any kind of relationship. So I'm learning the importance of communicating what it is that I feel to the people involved. But I wasn't like that. I'm not the kind of person who will upfront tell somebody I feel ABCD. I prefer to deal with it at a personal level, which is not the best thing. Yeah.
Yes, most of the time is not the best for many reasons. People will start defending themselves. They will call you weak. They will call you a washer person,
Yeah, but you see, the thing is, the reason I think for me the biggest challenge has been, you see, not everyone you come and tell, not everyone has the capacity to listen to somebody tell them, I feel hurt by what you did. And when you tell somebody, most of the people here, when you tell them, I feel hurt, they're like, why are you hurt? You understand? Yeah. They already start getting defensive. They're like, no, you should not be hurt. But you're already hurt. Yeah. But I'm already hurt. So when you're telling me you should not be hurt, instead of acknowledging, okay, I understand you, I validate the fact that you're hurt, this was the situation. Apologize if you need to, and let's move forward. So most of the people will automatically get on the defense. And you see, if somebody hurt you and you tell them and they get on the defense, that hurts you even more. So most of the time you prefer, let me just not tell them. Yeah. Because you can almost predict how they're going to react.
Yeah.
If you're with a person who has their own issues, they might turn around the situation and make you look like you're the bad person. So it depends with who you're dealing with. And I think those situations that are the ones who has made me be like, okay, let me just not talk about it. Let me not discuss it. Yeah.
It's true, actually. When you talk about when people tell you don't get angry.
Yeah, don't get angry.
Don't cry.
Don't get hurt. Why
it is
hurt?
Like an on and off button, You can like, decide, I cry.
No, you decide for me what is hurting me. You want to program how I will react to situations.
Exactly.
You can't program how somebody will react to situations. So if somebody tells you they are hurt, believe them, they are hurt.
And this drives me to sad moments. Let me talk about grieving moments. Grieving can be loss of anything, loss of friendship, loss of job, loss of a loved one, like through physical death, like they have a longer part of us here. And there are people who tell you you're a strong person, you can hold on to this, we have always known you are strong. These are terms that really pin people down. if you are telling somebody to be strong, not to cry, to be there for the family and all this, it's not really right. The best we can always do is to trigger them to let their emotions out and out and out until they become empty and they go through that grieving process. According to, I think Rose wrote the 5 stages of grieving, where you have the bargain, we have I'm just mentioning them in no particular order: the acceptance, there is anger, the other 2 is there is denial, and then the other one I can't really, depression. There should be depression.
Yeah, there's depression.
Yeah, depression. So by us, if you have a friend who is mourning loss of a loved one, allow them to go this, and in fact let them be aware that this will happen, and not trying to make them smile all the time, and they cannot even afford a smile. All they can afford is a tear. Let them cry.
Yeah, I think in regards to that, when people have lost people in grieving, especially if we are grieving physical death, it's important for us to be able to be sensitive. I don't know if it's you I told this story. I think I told you this story. Months ago, I think in January, I traveled I took a friend of mine somewhere. They were going for, another friend of hers had lost her dad. So I was taking them to just, be there for them, things like that. So while we were there, it wasn't the burial date yet. There were preparations, things like that. So I remember at some point, these girls were sat down. They were sat down and told, we need you guys to do your tribute now. Because, it's preparations. The program needs to be done. The burial is like in 2 days. Or is it 1 day? So they forced the girls to, sit down and do their tributes. So in the process, a tribute is not just something you do. It forces you to think about the person you're writing this tribute to. And the fact that you're writing this tribute to somebody that is no longer there, and this is somebody you've known all your life, triggered a lot of things for one of the girls. And I remember her starting to cry, and she couldn't even write that tribute. But I was like, yes, we know sometimes, yes, we are celebrating life and things have to be done a certain way, but you can't force some of these things. You can't force somebody to write a tribute if they're not ready. Let people go with the flow of things, let people grieve the way they want to grieve. So yeah, I that situation really helped me also understand, because you see sometimes when somebody dies, watu wanakuanga wameingia in active mode of getting things done, because there's a lot of things that need to be done in preparations for the burial. But we also need to understand that this is also the moment where the family is actually processing loss, and it might not be easy for some people. So that it's also important when in that space to even treat each other with kindness, because that is the moment that you also have to understand that maybe Derek will not be up to task. Maybe my sister, this person, because of their temperament and how they are, we might not expect them to do much in this season.
Yeah.
Like having that understanding for each other based on how we all react to situations is very important. Yeah.
You are right. So we should allow people to
wacha mtu endelee. I would say let people grieve the way they want to grieve. Like vitu zingine, if somebody doesn't feel like doing, sio lazima. Like if I don't feel like my tribute, if I feel like enyewe nimeshindwa, nimelemewa, I can't write this thing, it shouldn't be a must for me to do it.
Yeah. Let me bring this conversation on emotions back to workspace. Your boss has found you have not been working, and your boss, of course, is angry. They have all the reasons to be angry for the fact that there's a HR policy. There are things you guys agreed to do and to work on, but you have not been doing your assignment as expected for a week. You have not communicated why. So your boss terms you all this word, lazy, incompetent, uncooperative, and unfit for that work. and then suddenly that is when you realize you have been overwhelmed, things have not been working well, and you feel like your working space is toxic and people don't understand you. Will this person be right as an employee, or how should we handle things, especially at workspace?
Well, workspace is tricky. The other day I was speaking to my cousin, and he was telling us that when you go to work, the boss is not your friend. Nobody is your friend. You've gone there to work. You meet your deliverables, you get paid, and you go home. And that's the unfortunate reality of workspace. You don't expect anyone to take care of you there. So if something is happening with you and you have not communicated and the boss is angry, this boss is looking at goals, and that is a workspace. So if you communicate, I think it's very important to find a way to communicate, because if you then don't communicate, you don't give the other people a lot of things to work with. You understand? Because if they understand that maybe you're going through something that you might need support, there are some companies who have availed that mental health or whatever for their staff. So if you communicate, you can be linked up with that. You understand? But some companies don't have that. But maybe the best they can do is give you a few leave days and lift off some work off you so that you can rearrange yourself. But there are others who will not understand at all. So either way, it's important that you communicate. And also, the reason why we talk about support systems, because your boss is not your support system. And that's why you need to have people around you who are not from work that are supporting you, whether your family, your friends. So these people need to be aware of this thing so that they can support you through this season. So expecting this kind of support from the workspace is difficult, but of course your job is to communicate if you need time out, communicate if you need leave days, communicate if you need, whatever it is you need, so that you can go deal with whatever and then come back as a more productive somebody who's able to deliver. So communication is important, but also it's important to understand that at the workspace, nobody is your friend. You go there to work and to work alone. So it's important to cultivate support systems outside of work.
I agree. And I think communication is really, really important. Sometimes we can easily say a place is toxic, but the toxic nature started with us.
Yeah.
If you have an open system in your workspace where they allow you to express yourself, and you just know that you have lost somebody, it will not be death. Maybe you have lost, or your relationship has come to an end and you had invested so much. It is not wrong to inform your seniors that you're not in a good emotional season or time or period, and you might not be as that productive as you normally are when you're in your good condition, and therefore they should not, in case there are work that need to be accomplished within a very short time, they can assign it to another person.
Their communication is important for them.
Yes, it will be wrong to wait for your boss to come and approach you now.
Yeah, you will let the other team down, which is not good. So it's important to just say it, whatever it is that is happening, and say what you need. Because that's not your parent who will ask you, Maya itakusaidia ama maziwa mala, say this is what is happening and this is what I need.
Yeah.
To make the job easier for everyone, so that they can be able to support you in a way that is helpful to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have any other thing to add on this.
Workspace. Workspaces are tricks, especially when it comes to emotions, because you see, when you have a tiff with your boss or your colleague, if you have a problem in a relationship, you can just take a break and say, I don't want to talk to this person, I don't want to see them. But you can never say you don't want to see your boss. You will have to sit in that meeting with them, even though you're not talking to each other, literally. So it's having those moments at workspaces can can be very challenging. So, and that's why I think we need to explore conflict resolution in workspaces, healthy conflict resolution in workspaces, because it's important. Because you see, if we have these two fights, this one has conflict with this one doesn't the one with this one doesn't want to work with this one, it affects the productivity of the entire team.
Yeah, true. Talking about conflict resolution, I found myself in workspaces where there was conflict between some of the workers and the boss, and during the conflict resolution, one of the people who is part of the team to resolve the conflict is the conflicting party. If your boss, you're having conflict with your boss, not just one worker, around 4 or 5, they're having issues and they don't think things can continue working that way, and you don't have another third party, or your boss is not, even if your boss is bringing a third party, they're bringing a third party because the third party in a way relates with them rather, and they are good friends, or they will consider the company more than the worker. So it's quite a challenge in working spaces.
It is. And if you're in a space like that, then I identify how you can
maneuver through.
How you can maneuver through if there's somebody else in the office that is not sure, if you can talk to your HR, because you see, again, your mental health is paramount. So find ways in that system. Don't like die with the problems.
Sometimes it gets hard. Or your fellow colleague, you are fellow for the fact that you work almost in the same department, but for the fact that nowadays people get into jobs through connections. This is a relative to this. So you're finding your colleague has been harassing you in a way, they have been emotionally draining you, but for some reason this colleague of yours cannot be sacked. Your boss and their parent are best of friends, and you need this job. So it becomes a big challenge to say things will be rosy, but I think, as you put it, it is important to always find ways to maneuver within that space. But I think when it gets to the extreme, it is important to call it quit.
Yeah.
It is important to call it quit. Your life matters more than that job. It's your life than the job.
Correct.
Yeah.
Very, very, very correct. Very correct. What emotions? Unajua tujaongelea wanaume na hii mambo ya emotions.
Ni sawa, ongelelea wanaume. I think nilikuwa nimegusia.
Ulikuwa umegusia, but for men, you, Derek, I know you are a mental health advocate, so it's a bit easier for you to navigate expressing emotions and owning your emotions. But what is the situation with fellow comrades?
Hey, things are tough. Comrades don't want to accept they're weak. Comrades don't
want to accept they're human.
They don't want to accept they're human. They want to please their friends, their colleagues, and
so it's an expectation you guys have among each other that you need.
It is an expectation among ourselves. It is also an expectation from the community. You
need to show up a certain way.
Yes, a man is not supposed to do this. The way we can say mwanaume wakwaje na mattress, you're supposed to sleep on the floor. The fact is, you're not supposed to feel.
Nilie kwani mimi mwanamke?
Yeah, I cry kwani mimi, I'm not a lady. We are not supposed to be feelers. We're supposed to be very logical. You're supposed to look at the future, about career, about what do I get on this table, and to see emotion as a weak tool, to see emotion as a woman thing. If all of a sudden you cry because your girlfriend left you, we will laugh at you. Men will laugh at you. Why are you crying? You're crying because of a woman. There's so many women outside there. Well, it's true there are so many women outside there, but at this moment you're grieving what you've lost. It's not about other women. It's not about other men, but what you feel right now. So I'd say we are still behind as men in terms of expressing emotion.
And my question is how, because you see, men are always insistive of, not appearing weak, not laughing, not laughing, not crying. But my question is, how far has that gotten?
How far?
Like, how does it work to suppress emotions?
It doesn't work.
To always appear strong, to be strong all the time and masculine, to bury yourself in work or sports or whatever it is that you can bury yourself in. Does it work?
It doesn't work. And statistics in terms of suicide can tell you those who are dying of suicide are men, more men compared to women. Those who are sexually or physically or in a way abusing others are men, because this is somebody who is suppressing an emotion for way too long, and then when one petty trigger leads to this guy running berserk, and doing anything they can at that particular moment. So yeah, it gets them to moments where they can no longer control it, and some are ending up in jail, some are ending up in serious ailments. Yeah, so I'd say it's a big challenge, and some are getting into drugs. And there's a percentage of men who believe when they're stressed or when their emotions override them, they should look for a woman to make love, and then that feeling will go away. I have so many people I know who consider that as an
drinking,
option.
is it the same thought as drinking? Absolutely.
There are so many men who consider to drink, use drugs, whether it's bang or cocaine or whichever form of drug, or women, to and it doesn't work that way. The excitement will come for that moment, and then reality will hit you the moment that drug, that substance, it's out of your brain. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think even as we talk about this, it's important for just our audience to understand that it is our role, both as men and women, to create a safe space for everyone to be able to be human, and expressing your emotions is part of just being a human being. Like everyone was created with this thing.
Yes,
everyone has emotions.
Human beings are emotional beings, except in the event somebody is sick or mentally unwell. For example, if somebody is a sociopath or a psychopath, we don't expect them really to express emotions.
Yeah, so it's important for us to create space for people to express their emotions, but also for us to strive to be able to understand, to have awareness behind these emotions, so that we can deal with them in a healthy way. For example, if you're angry, you have to understand what is making you angry. So you see, this emotion is like a fruit of another thing. It's coming from a place. So it's important for you to address where the anger, the disappointment, the fear is coming from, so that you can, that's the healthy way of dealing with it, dealing with the actual issue, instead of just suppressing the emotion, because the emotion is not the issue.
Yes,
the emotion is a symptom of an issue. Yes, absolutely. So even as we express our emotions, even as you express you say you're angry, and expressing your emotions we should also encourage people to express their emotions in a healthy way, because najua ukichukua isimu urushe pia ni express anger. So express your emotions in a way that is healthy, and that's why it's important for people to be aware of their emotions, like be the awareness behind the emotion, so that you understand that this anger I'm feeling is coming from this and this and this place, and this is what I need to do to solve the issue that I'm facing. Yeah, it is important, because kuna watu wanasemaga nakuga na hasira mbaya sana. Mimi nakuga na hasira mbaya sana. And it's like those are things people are proud of, because people say it with pride. Yes. I don't know why. Usinijaribu bana. Unijui mimi. Don't cross me. And sometimes it might be true they easily get angry. The sad reality with them getting angry is they have acquired
behaviors from their surrounding on how when somebody is angry happens to do.
So you think if I'm angry, I just beat up somebody, or I insult somebody?
Yes. So the behavior they have acquired from others. Anger, probably it's true, they can easily be triggered or easily get angry. But how they act upon that anger is something they have seen other people do.
But I know, I'm talking about this anger situation. I'm just thinking, if somebody is easily angered, should it really, in that moment, are they happy that they're angry? Because I don't understand why people are proud to say I'm easily angered. Are you happy that you're angry?
You shouldn't be happy.
Are you happy with the behavior?
It is not a matter of you being happy. It's a matter of you being aware that there are certain things that can easily make you angry. And if you know that, then it calls for you to find healthy ways of handling your anger. You can, when in certain situations, you can decide to walk away. Because, for example, we can be talking about a very normal conversation, but it is a trigger to you. You know, we can be talking about lawyers, and for some reason, for some reason, it triggers something completely different from what you guys are talking about, and you know it's a trigger. The best you can do is walk away. You can,
true. You can walk away. But my question, your time when I was asking you, are you happy? It's actually, if, for example, you get angry and you smash your hand, like when you go back, are you proud of those actions that you took?
I wouldn't say people they're happy, but they are relieved.
Or you get relieved.
You know the way you go to the toilet, you after that process you feel relieved.
So ukiweka mtu ngumi hata kama umemuumiza, you feel relieved.
Yeah, the first thing you feel is relief. Like oof.
Then guilt later. You know. That is what happens. But another thing also, you see, anger is a big thing, and anger management is like learning how to manage your anger is a process. So you have to actually decide as a person, I want to learn how to manage my anger, and it can start with those things that you do, but this is something that maybe you might require to do with somebody. So maybe you can reach out to somebody to help you, a professional. But you can decide with those small things, like today, even when they trigger me, I will just hold my hand together like this, or I will walk away, whatever. Commit to doing a small thing that will change the situation. Yeah, then if you can do that, that will now show that maybe you're starting to improve. Like kama wewe ni mtu wa kujibishana, uamue tu leo maybe sitajibishana. I will just like disengage. Or kama wewe ni wa kuchapana, uamue pia sitachapana, I will just hold my hand together. Until we finish, or walk away, whatever is easier for you. Commit to doing, in every situation, commit to doing that one thing that will change how you handle the situation. And even fear, not just anger, even fear. Like if you are afraid, or maybe afraid of things, or afraid of starting things, you can say, I just commit to doing one thing. I just commit to doing this one thing that will change the situation, whatever it is, depending on your situation.
I agree.
Anything else? This episode is meant to be a short one.
No.
Okay, that's it, guys. I hope you have enjoyed this session. You can send us your questions or things that you think we should discuss, questions that you have, and also tell us how you manage how you deal with your emotions, and let's see if we can borrow something from it. Derek, anything?
Nothing to add. All I can say is be aware of your emotions. Be aware. Be aware.
Awareness behind emotions.
Be aware, and how important it is, and how you can express it in the right way.
True. Also remember, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. Please take time, be intentional about being aware of mental health, about your own about your own issues, whether it's triggers and things like that, and be intentional about taking care of your mental health. Don't be a mental health risk to anybody, and also spread the gospel about the mental health awareness.
Yeah.
Let the next person know that it's Mental Health Awareness Month, and do something that will help them be aware.
Absolutely.
Asante sana, till next time.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.